Okay, I'm recording. All right, we're going to kick this off so we don't have to keep you too long. I am stoked to have Carly on tonight because her story is awesome. Last year, when we were like in the top 10 running and all that stuff, I just remember seeing her early on. Like, you started at what number at the beginning of the year?
60 or 70?
Yeah, 60 or 70. And then every single month, it was like, bam, bam, bam. And then all of a sudden you were like 17, blah, blah, blah. And you finished 7, right?
Yeah, number 7.
Number 7. So you started as a diamond coach.
Yeah, ish. I think maybe I was in 1-star qualification, maybe.
So still diamond and then finished 5-star and number 7 in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking awesome. Okay, so you're 8-star right now. She's been in Success Club 20 plus for the past 25 months. And she's the bomb. So I'm excited for you to listen to her story. I want you to fully tell your story because I think a lot of people will relate to you.
Okay.
And that will be awesome. So give us all you got, girl. Turn it over to you.
All right. Well, I am very much a talker. So I told Micah if I at some point just kind of like go off on a tangent, just somebody start doing this or something. But I'm going to put it on. Okay, there we go. Oh, hi. So my gosh. Okay. So it's so funny. Oh, I was about to say something that I'm not supposed to say yet. So never mind. Scratch that. You'll find out in like a week or so when I was about to be like, oh, I knew what Carly was about to announce. But anyway, I was just thinking a lot about this today, about my story, because I think it's important in order to really fully relate to people. And yet there's certain things that when we tell our stories to prospects or coach prospects or customer prospects that we won't necessarily tell. So I don't want you to feel as though the story that I'm telling you right now is what I tell somebody who's looking into the business. I'm telling you as coach to coach kind of a story. So I'm kind of like friends telling a story in my kind of life in a nutshell. So what happened for me, if you really want me to tell like my full story, I'll just kind of start from the actual beginning.
Yeah.
I was always like an athletic kid. And then around 12, 13 years old, I started gaining weight like really rapidly. I think I was 12 years old and I gained like 30 or 40 pounds in like a summer. And as a 12 or 13-year-old girl, like that's rough. And I mean like rough city. And it was really hard. And from there on out, I just kind of struggled with weight until, well, gosh, I still struggle, but you know what I mean? I was overweight for a while. And for probably about, 6 or 7 years. And until I got some answers, I was diagnosed with something called polycystic ovarian syndrome when I was 17 years old. And basically my doctors told me like, you're fat, lose weight. You have this thing called PCOS because you're fat. And I wish I was saying this in like I'm exaggerating, but that's basically what she told me. And it was awful. And hearing that at 16 years old or 17 years old, also that your ovaries weren't working properly. And it was a lot all at once as a 17-year-old. And I always knew I had this going on. At the time, I was about 220 pounds. I am now, just to give you an example, I'm like 140-ish on a good day. So, I kind of bounce around, but I've lost a lot of weight since then. But I'll go back to that part of my story. But I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And for the first like 3 or 4 years of being diagnosed, I didn't really do anything about it. I just kind of stayed overweight and used excuses. And I always loved to work out, but eating has always been my thing. I love to eat, which is partly why I work out now, so I can eat whatever I want, but that's not true. But, so I struggled with a lot of health issues. I was also around that time diagnosed with insulin resistance, no cartilage in my knees, and hypothyroidism. So I have like all the cards just stacked up against me. But again, as a 17 and 18-year-old, I was just kind of like, whatever. And it wasn't until the first 2 years of college that I really started to lose weight. And I got addicted to losing weight in a really, really bad way. I got down to about 110 pounds, which on my frame is about 35 pounds lighter than I am right now, like I said, and was just way too thin. I got addicted to a number. I got addicted to the scale. I was weighing myself like 12 times a day. It was just really bad. So I got addicted. So I have not only been on the borderline obese and pre-diabetic scale, I've also been on anorexic and way too thin scale. So I kind of have been anywhere in between. And it's been part of my journey and part of what's made me, I think, relatable to so many people, is because I can truly relate on both ends of the spectrum. But anyways, I always kind of say that going to UCLA is what kind of saved my life, because I transferred there after 2 years at a college close to me, and then went to UCLA about an hour away. And I always say it saved me in the sense that I was forced to start eating again. And when you're in college, it's like that pizza late night and Doritos for studying and whatever. And it wasn't the healthiest environment, but it made me gain weight, and it forced me to start eating again. And it honestly saved my life because I put on some weight. And anyway, throughout college, typical college years, heartbreak, whatever, drinking, all these different things. I didn't have a crazy college story where, I was at like the bottom of my life and had to find myself again. But I graduated with a pre-law degree, and I was totally set on going to USC for law school. I actually paid a huge chunk of a deposit, ready to go to graduate school. And I found myself, this is where my story really begins. So sorry, I kind of like sped up through everything, but this is where my story begins. I found myself not only after gaining like 30 or 40 pounds from my lowest weight, but then about 40 pounds on top of what I had already gained back at UCLA. So mind you, I pretty much gained back half of what I had already lost in the beginning of my story. And I found myself a postgraduate student, totally lost and not knowing what I wanted to do, feeling like I had no purpose in the world, feeling like I was throwing away my life to something that didn't fulfill me. I was miserable. I had my heart broken into a million pieces. I just felt uncomfortable in my own skin. It was not good. And I found myself both scrolling through social media. It's funny, on that same day that I signed up for my first challenge pack, I had also binged on close to 10,000 calories. That was kind of something I've also suffered from, is binge eating disorder. I remember, and I'll never forget it. I finished not a happy meal, like a double cheeseburger meal, a personal pizza, and a whole thing of peanut butter, and like 3 apples in one like 3-hour sitting. And I was feeling so miserable and obviously very uncomfortable, as you can imagine, after eating all of that. And I was scrolling through social media, and I found somebody talking about like Chalene Johnson jumping up and down like as a little sprite doing these workouts, and I said something about superfoods, and I was like, that looks somewhat interesting. I actually grew up doing Chalene Johnson's like live class workouts in the gym because she lives like 20 minutes from me, so I've been taking her classes since I was a teenager, and I was like, that's a familiar face, I can do that. So I bought a challenge pack. I became a challenger. I started working out in this tiny space between my coffee table and my fireplace, and I just kind of started talking about it. This is pre-coach. I started as a challenger, so if you thought you missed that or somewhere in there, you got it right. I started as a challenger. I didn't start social media posting because I was trying to get people to join me. I just started posting about what I was doing. So if you look back on my Instagram account from like 2 years ago, or a little over 2 years ago, because I've been a coach for 2 years now, people would comment, they're like, what are you doing? Or what are you drinking? And I'd be like, oh, I'm drinking this superfood thing. And I don't know, I think you can get it from a coach, like, Google Team Beachbody coach or something. So I kicked myself because I'm sure I gave away amazing customers and coaches. But anyway, I started telling my story on social media pretty openly. And I kind of became known as this person who talked about things that people weren't really willing to talk about. For example, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is a big elephant in the room for a lot of women. A lot of women are diagnosed when they're trying to get pregnant. So it's something very, very hard for people to talk about. And, I was, I guess, lucky in the sense that I was diagnosed early. So it wasn't when I was turning have babies, but it was something that I started talking about openly on social media, and I became kind of this girl known as the one who would talk openly about PCOS. I would talk openly about binge eating, about anorexia, about all ends of the spectrum of things that I just knew because it was part of my story, and I just started talking about it, not because I wanted people to join me or I wanted a commission from their sale. I wasn't even a coach at the time. It was because I wanted to be heard. And I'm a middle child, and my whole life, my biggest thing is I've always felt like I haven't been heard. And even as a coach, that's something I struggle with, is feeling like I'm being heard. And for me, I started posting on social media just to hold myself accountable, and for people to hear my story, and just to inspire someone. It's like that cheesy quote where it's like, I just want to inspire someone. Like, that's really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to inspire somebody to change. And anyways, fast forward a little bit. It took me about 3 months to become a coach. I actually didn't sign up with the person who I signed up with in a challenge pack. I didn't know like the etiquette at the time. So I always
They're so mad.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And I feel really bad that I just didn't know. But it's interesting because I actually didn't really connect with her, and I didn't feel like my challenge group was awesome, which is why, if you guys know me, I kind of call myself challenge group queen. And I'm good at that because I didn't really connect with my coach, and she never really made, a personal connection with me. I was gone for like 3 weeks from the group. She never checked in on me. And so I don't feel that bad actually, that I'm not. And it took me a while. I was growing a big social media following. And so as you guys can imagine, and how kind of Instagram has become, it's like coaches poach people now. And that's kind of what happened to me on Instagram, is people were like, you should be a coach, join my team. And I was like, no, like, this is weird. I don't want to do that. I don't want to sell anybody anything, like, leave me alone. And it happened to be that a coach found me who happened to live like 10 minutes from me. We met, went to the farmer's market. I signed up that day as a coach because I'm very much a people person. And when she was physically there to hug me and telling me it's going to be okay, and I became a coach, and I just kind of from day one went full force with being a coach. Once I kind of embrace, I'm that person where if I say I'm going to do something, I kind of just go for it, which is why as a diamond, I said I was going to be top 10 and then somehow did it. So, that's just my personality. So when I became a coach, I was like, well, might as well start talking to people and posting about what I've been doing. And my first month as a coach, I hit Success Club 40. Mind you, I didn't know what that was at the time. It wasn't until the end of the month that my upline Star Diamond did this Success Club report. And I was 40, and she gave me a call, and she's like, I don't know who you are, but like, who are you and what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. I'm just telling people what I'm doing. And so it made it very simple for me, and very simple for me eventually to duplicate once I decided to become a leader, which I'll get to that point. But for 8 months, I decided I wasn't going to be a leader, and I was going to sit and sell a ton of challenge packs. So for 8 months, I built my business strictly on commissions and selling challenge packs. I had my mom and my dad at the top of my organization because my upline told me to sign up my parents as coaches. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know what I was doing. So I became an emerald and sat there for 8 months, selling challenge pack after challenge pack after challenge pack. And it was amazing. And it was so fun because I loved that role. But I was not stretching myself and moving my business into a place where this was going to be sustainable. My upline Star Diamond, Sarah Try, I'm 4 levels deep in her organization. I, like Micah, I'm kind of on a dead leg. I'm in like the middle of nowhere down line. Like, I'm just, everything I've built is from me. So I'm just kind of floating alone. And my upline 4 levels up happened to be in 2013 leadership retreat, which was in Dana Point, California, which is about 15 minutes from me. And she said, you're going to take us to the airport and we're going to get breakfast, and I want to sit down and talk with you. And I was like, okay. And she basically told me I had to stop killing myself by selling so many challenge packs and do something that was going to move my business forward. And at the time I said, okay, like, I think I can do that. Let me give it a try. And I decided from there on out that I was going to be somebody that no one else was in the network. If you look at me, if you look at Micah, at least from what I know of Micah, we are very different than a lot of the coaches in the network. I was certainly not Lindsay Matway. She was top coach that year. So those are the people I thought I had to be like. And I decided from day one, when I decided I was going to build my team, that I wanted to build it in a way that was me. And that was something that people could respect and look up to, and put myself out of my comfort zone, even when it felt really gross, because sometimes it feels yucky and gross and not cool to be building, because sometimes it's like you feel like you're doing nothing, and that's okay. But I decided, like I said, when I decide I'm going to do something, I do it. And I decided from day one, I was going to put my heart and soul into it, and just build how I felt was right for my team. So I hit diamond within like, I don't know, a week or two of saying I was going to start building my team, simply because I had such a pool of challengers. If you can imagine, Success Club 40 on average for 8 months, that's a ton of people. And I kicked myself every single day that I wasn't bringing the coaching opportunity up to these people, because a lot of them aren't really in the business anymore, or even my challengers. But I finally decided to start building. And the way, I'm telling you guys straight right now, the way I first recruited some of my very best coaches on my team, who are at the top of my downline, killing it right now. One of my girls just hit 2-star, was, hey, you guys, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to teach you how to be a coach. Would you want to do it with me? And they were like, okay. And they were like, let us try. So I did. If you were sitting here feeling like you don't know how, or you don't know what to do, you don't know how to be a leader, you don't know how to approach the business, teach people what you know how to do. Teach people what you know how to do. And it's that simple. I remember my second month as a coach, I was a diamond. I had 15 personally sponsored coaches hit Success Club. And if you're like Micah or anything like me, I'm struggling sometimes to get 15 now. And for me, it was so simple in the beginning, because I made it simple for my team. And all I knew how to do as a coach and as a baby diamond was how to help people and sell challenge packs and hit Success Club. So that's exactly what I duplicated for my team. And I taught them how to do, which is why I say I stumbled my way into top 10, because I kind of just taught people how I knew what to do. And now, of course, I have systems and all of that. But in the beginning, it truly was, I'm just going to teach people how to help people. And I'm going to latch on to these people who see a vision with me. And I always, thank goodness for my few girls in the beginning who saw that vision with me, because even when I said as a diamond, we're going to be top 10 in 2014, they were like, okay, we can do it. So for me, it was so much about finding people who saw a vision with me and not getting offended when people told me no, because now I get more offended than I did from day one, because when I was a brand new coach, and by brand new, I mean 8 months in, brand new in the sense of I'm building my team, I was just so gung-ho about building my team, and I saw such a great opportunity that every time somebody told me no, I was like, you're lost, and kind of like moved on to the next. And now I remember, now I'm back into that place. But in 2014 especially, I felt like I was taking everything personally. I had set all of these goals and expectations and all these things on my shoulders, that when somebody told me no, or they, fell out of the business or whatever it was, I took it so personally. And it took me a long time and a lot of personal development, to be honest, to come back to the realization that what got me successful in the beginning was doing things by just the seat of my pants, and doing it how I wanted, and doing it in a way where I didn't have to apologize for who I was, and doing it without expecting things from people. The minute we as leaders start to expect things from our teams is when it's like, ooh, like it's so bad, so bad. And for me, I knew as a new coach and as a new leader, the only thing I knew how to do was hit Success Club and teach people how to become emerald, because I had become emerald. And I always tell my team now that Caleb Thomas and I actually just did a team call on Thursday night for our teams combined about duplication and how simple it can be. And it can be truly, you guys, you plus two, and you teaching people to know what you did. So for me, now, of course, I'm teaching my coaches how to become star diamond, and I'm teaching them how to be 5-star and elite, and hopefully top 10. God, I hope I get a top 10 in my downline. But in the beginning, what I was teaching them to do is hit Success Club and hit emeralds, because that's what I knew how to do. And I'm telling you guys, if you feel like you don't know how to be successful, or if you don't know how to lead a team, think about what you've done and what you know how to do. And if you're even sitting here thinking, I don't know who's watching this recording and who's on, so I'm not speaking to like anyone, I don't know anything about the team, but if you're even sitting here thinking, well, I haven't hit Success Club and I'm not even an emerald, how can I duplicate that? You became a coach. Help somebody become a coach. That's duplicating too. And I'm guaranteeing you guys, you'll look up one day 2 years into the business like I did on May 1st and just be like, holy crap. Like look what I've done, and look what I've decided to do, because all one day I decided I am going to put my fear aside, and I'm going to get over myself and get over this little monster in my head that's telling me I'm not good enough to be a leader, and squash that and move forward. Because if anyone had anything against me, you guys, when I said I was going to be top 10, I was 23 years old. I was a grad school dropout. I was trying to connect to moms and everybody, and I still connect to moms. I have incredible moms on my team. But I don't have that niche, hashtag fit mom, hashtag fit pregnancy, all those different things. I don't have those. And so if anybody had anything stacked against me as a leader and like any of that, it was me. And I decided to kind of move on beyond that and decide that my team was going to thrive with or without hashtag fit mom. And trust me, I tell all of my coaches to own that. And because I always joke with Doug Moss and the people from corporate, the day I get married or engaged or have kids, my business is going to explode because of my niches are going to start to grow like crazy. But I didn't have that in the beginning. And that's okay. I always say this to my team whenever I speak on team calls, is that I used to think everything that I lacked was the reason I was not going to be successful in this business. And I realize now everything that I lack, quote unquote, is actually the reason I am successful in this business, because there's people who need to know that there's somebody like them out there. And parts of my story connect with so many people, and like moms, and I have tons of moms on my team, but I'm not a mom, but part of my story connected with them. Just like if you're a mom, you can still attract young girls like me who just want to be a girl boss and don't have to feel like they have to go to grad school and be $200,000 in debt, because part of your story is what's going to connect with them. So for me, it was about telling my story unapologetically from day one and doing it in a way that was just super passionate and super raw. And then beyond that, it was helping people, of course, but moving into a space where I saw the opportunity. And I'm telling you guys, retail is great, but it is exhausting. It is so exhausting selling all those challenge packs. I gave my team an example of this. In April 2014, I made just over about $3,000, I think is what it was, which is great. I mean, I'm super proud of that. I loved that. But April 2015, and mind you, in April 2014, I hit Success Club like 90 something, I don't know, something really high. And I was working nonstop. I was like not sleeping. I was like a crazy person. My brain was about to spill over. Fast forward a year, April 2015, I made just shy of $13,000 last month. And I worked maybe a tenth of what I did because I put so much time and energy into building my team and building something solid that now it's becoming residual. Of course, I'm still working, but I cannot even stress to you guys the importance of building your team and building it from the ground up, because I'm no longer spending so much time answering questions about fitness and clean eating and all of these different things for people who aren't going to move my business forward. I look for people who I can see have a story, have something to say in this world, and want to inspire other people, because I still run challenge groups. I love them. They're still like a huge part of my world. But where my time and energy is spent now is put into my team and team building, because it not only it pays better, but it also is just so much more rewarding when you see your team building. I don't know, Micah will agree that there's nothing like that feeling of seeing like my team just like, we're still a baby team. My team just built from 700 coaches to 810 in 2 weeks. Like for me, that's a huge deal. Like that's huge. And for me, I get more excited about that than a call with Carl because I sold 55 challenge packs in a month. So just know that it can be a little frightening to change your mind shift, but there's always something greater when you move beyond your comfort zone. And I'm not saying the grass is always greener on the other side. You just got to fertilize it. And it's been totally different, but it's been greener because I put the time and the energy in. And it's just, I decided that my fear was so much less than what I wanted out of this business. I had to decide what I wanted. Did I want to live by this fear, or did I want to live by a vision that I saw in this business? And I decided to live by the vision, and I decided I was going to do something, and I went for it. And I lived unapologetically for who I was as a leader. So live unapologetically and lead how you want, and teach people how you know what to do. Like I said, if you're a diamond, teach somebody how to be a diamond. If you're an emerald, teach your next coach how to be an emerald. If you are a coach and you aren't even hitting Success Club, teach your next coach how to sign up. Teach them that. Teach them as something as simple that you can duplicate, because by the time you look up 2 months from now, a month from now, a year from now, your business will be duplicating like crazy because you started it and you started to live unapologetically as a leader and decided to own who you were as a leader. So anyway, sorry, I just talked your ears off. I know I just kind of like, is there anything that I kind of skipped over that you want me to touch on again, Micah?
No, that's awesome. I have two things that I want you to kind of talk about for a second. So I know that when I look at your Instagram and things like that, you leverage your story and your transformation like a boss. Like how often would you say that you're posting some type of transformation picture?
Yeah, that's a good question. Something I get asked a lot. So if you look, I haven't posted in almost a week just because I go through these phases of like social media, and I haven't been posting recently, but on a good week, I would say probably like 4 or 5 times, but in different ways.
Right.
So for me, like I'll often try to do like a heaviest to like current side by side and just talk about what I've been through. I can try and connect to some people. Not all of my transformations are call to actions. That's another thing, is it's just building trust. You're simply telling your story. Other ones, I'll have it and it'll be like, bikini boot camp or whatever. And that's kind of more of a call to action post. And then I also talk about, if you follow me, you've seen my side by sides of when I was really thin and when now, or when I was my heaviest and when I was my thinnest. And I always try to tell something about what I was feeling, what I was going through, what I was doing in those moments, because what you're doing is what connects to people. If you notice on my Instagram, I get a lot of engagement on my long posts because people like to know how you're feeling in that moment. And people can connect to a before and after picture, sure. But if you tell the story behind that picture, it's so much more powerful. And for me, Instagram, I like to tell my before and after, or share it at least a few times a week, because everyone's not on Instagram all the time. And you never know who's going to see it that day. So I'm glad I leverage it like a boss. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I was telling my sister-in-law, because she has an awesome transformation, but she's not like at her dream body yet. So she doesn't post anything. And I'm like, you have come so far. It doesn't matter if you're at your goal end all, like share it. And I think so many people have that same, like they let that hold them back because they're not at their goal. And it's like, it's the story, it's the journey, it's the process.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I always tell my, my coaches, sometimes I get the most challengers and the most interest when I've like gained 10 pounds. Like I kind of still kind of like, I kind of just roller coaster all over. And cause my body has a sweet, like 20-pound spot that it just kind of goes all over. And on my months when I like haven't done so hot, I honestly hit like my highest new coach number and highest, new challenger, numbers, because I'm just being vulnerable and I'm talking to people about what I've done. Like I'll never forget it over summer. I went through another just heartbreak and just a lot, just awful. It was awful. And it was after Summit, and I actually went to Summit weighing more than I did when I first joined a challenge group. And do you know how like, not even hard. I don't even know the word to describe it. How undescribable that was to be at a coach summit where people were watching me, and my name was starting to get known by then, not as much as it is now, but to be there and be heavier than I was as a challenger and have to explain my story to people. But, I didn't feel like I had to explain myself because I was talking about it. I was talking about, hey, for the past month, I have binged on wine, cookies, and pizza because I had my heart broken, and that's where I'm at right now. But just know this summer it's on. And since then I've been on an upward battle of, it's better and I'm not where I was before. But yeah, I am all about being real and being honest. And if you cheat and tell people about it, post about it, who cares? But I'm glad you said that about my transformation and what your sister-in-law says. Is that you say your sister-in-law?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cozy.
Her name's Cozy?
Yeah,
oh, Cozy.
Yeah.
Yes. My sister, if you guys don't know why I'm saying that, is my sister's name is Cozy too. And so I think that's amazing. She's actually coming to Paris with us. But so for me, I always tell my team that it's so much more about where you're at than where you're going. And, I connect with a lot of people now who are kind of in that like 10-pound spot. But when I connected with a lot of people when I was a brand new coach who still had 30 pounds to lose. So oh gosh, I wish I could just tell her to post it, but well, hopefully she watches this. And I hope she posts it because people will be so connected to seeing where you're at, because people want people to meet them where they're at. They don't want to see somebody who's done. Trust me, they don't. Like it's just not relatable. And there are tons of coaches who are done, I would say, and are doing amazing. But for me, I've built my business on being relatable. And every single time I have a coach who's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to press post. And then they walk out of their room. Once they post on Facebook or wherever, it's like they call me crying 2 minutes later because they're getting so much engagement. And it can be scary. I remember my first post on Facebook too, because I built on Instagram for so long. So posting on Facebook to me was like, oh my gosh, no way. And I'll never forget it. People were just coming out of the woodworks telling me like how proud they were, how inspired they were. And so many of them became coaches and challengers because of that. But sorry. Anyway, I'm keep talking, but yes, you post where you're at. People want to see where you're at. They don't want to see a finished product.
Totally love it. Okay. Another thing.
Yeah.
So obviously I feel like we're so similar in the fact that I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just knew how to hit Success Club. I knew how to like help some challengers. And then that's what got me in top 10 was just teaching my coaches what you do. You just hit Success Club. That's all you need to do. Right. Yeah. So how would you say, like, as your newest coaches, how do you help them? Because not everyone's going to be a challenge pack queen like you are. I mean, I've never retailed like you ever. So how do you help people?
Neither does my team. I wish. How do I tell them? So for me, I have a new coach system that I use. I have, a GSR, I'm sure you do that, getting started right. And I have a call and all of that. But for me, I just don't skirt around anymore what Success Club is and how you can get it. I mean, I would say by day 2 of my coaches being a coach, they know exactly what they can do to hit Success Club in their first milestone as a coach. And what it takes to get there, but something that I have learned works really well for me when getting new coaches started right and getting them working towards Success Club is I ask them, can you think of like 3 people off the top of your head that you could talk to about health and fitness, or people who might even want to sign up with you already. And 8 times out of 10, my coaches come to me with a list of like 5 to 10 people, not 3. And I don't, and in that beginning conversation, I don't say anything about it. I'm like, okay, good, go sign them up. But on day 4 or 5, when we're talking about of coach training, day 4 or 5, when we're talking about Success Club and challenge groups and all that, I'm like, hey, remember when we were on the phone and you named off like 10 people to me off the top of your head who you could think of? I want you to send a message to them, talk to them today, like ask where they're at, get connected with them. Even if it's a, hey, how was your Mother's Day? Something like that. It's so simple. And it just gets my coaches in the mindset of, oh, like that's such an achievable first goal. I thought of people right away when Carly asked me. So for me, I've noticed, 2 things is, 1, asking my people or my new coaches to think about people right off the bat who they can help or who that they want to talk to, I'm sorry. And then 2, not skirting around the business, because I used to also be that person where it's like, this is going to be a ton of fun and like, yay team. And I'm still that person and I love my team, but I also treat this like a business. And I tell people how they can move their business forward. And the first thing to do is get Success Club. That's the most achievable thing that somebody can do as a new coach. So I try to keep it simple, but I keep it achievable for them and just try to get their wheels turning as a new coach. So
love it. Okay. I'm going to open it up to the people that are on and see if they have any questions. So I'm unmuting everyone. Okay. Does anyone have a question? Just raise your hand if you do.
Okay. Excuse me.
Hold on. Let me mute everyone and then I'm going to let you talk. Oh, shoot. Hold on.
I unmuted myself. You're okay.
Okay, good job. Okay, go, Kimberly.
Okay, so I'm like the opposite of you, and I don't know if you have any listeners. Like you and Coach Mike are similar in age, and you probably attract a lot of young coaches, and I'm not. I'm like, I found out this week I'm older than her mother, which is a total buzzkill for me. But so I'm like her oldest diamond, I'm sure. Aren't I? I'm
yeah.
Anything. But sometimes that I think, when I see like the top 10, obviously, all you guys on the panel, you're these like 30 bombshells, and some of you guys even 20s and stuff. And like you, like the hashtag mama, mine's like hashtag fit grandma. And I don't think a lot of people relate with that. But I want to be able to just own that and totally, I feel like I've got a big following, but I want to try to reach a younger market too. And I just wondered if you have any coaches that maybe are different like you, that maybe are outside of the box like me, that's not the typical, fit mom, having kids, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like you, but on the other end of the spectrum where, so I'm attracting a lot of people my age in the 40s and stuff, but a lot of times they don't have that stick-to-itness. They don't really have that passion and drive and energy, to be honest, to really run hard with me, and it gets frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I can totally relate with what you're saying. Micah, how old are you, by the way? When she said that, I don't know.
I'm 26.
Oh, I didn't know.
She's a youngin'.
You are a baby like me. Okay.
I just popped out those babies. So
yeah, I was gonna say maybe it's just because I'm so not married and so not mom that I just no wonder I like you. Okay, so yeah, I guess it's a hard question because I feel like it's it's like double-edged, because yes, I do have successful coaches on my team who are, I guess, older than me, and they do just as well as some of my younger coaches. But I think not even age, like taking age aside, I think what it is that adversity you might feel. Like for me, it was being young. Like it was really hard to find people who were 20 trying to commit to being a coach and building a business. For me, it was just a lot about failing until I succeeded, to be quite honest. It was about finding the people who did stick. And I know that's not like maybe what you want to hear. I wish I had like a magic potion, but for me, it's about talking to as many people as I can, so that way I know it's going to be a small pool that eventually commit, and finding that one who does commit long-term and wants to do this with me. But I think for you, like I was saying in the beginning when I was kind of rushing through my story, and I was saying that I have people who connect to me who are older than me, who are younger than me, because there's some part of what I've been through so far that connects with them. And as for connecting with people, I'm sure there's some point in your story that will connect with somebody and want to work with you because of what they connect with. But as for the people that you may be attracting and getting them to stick in the business, I can totally relate, because I go through spells like that too, where it's like 6 months of no one who's really working the business, and then all of a sudden it'll be the next one who is. So for me, it's just been about time, consistency, and a bigger pool of people. Like people ask me all the time, like, why do I recruit 20 or 30 coaches in a month? Because I know not all of them will be the ones who stick, and I want my pool of people to be bigger, so that way I know somebody in that group will. And I'm not saying go out and recruit 20 or 30 coaches, because I don't do that every single month. I really don't. Sometimes it'll be 0 and I'll be focusing on my current coaches, but I know it's because of the consistency and that time that I put in finding people, that the ones who do stick are the ones that I end up working with. But I can understand the adversity that you feel, because I was on the same page, but just on the opposite end, like you said. So for me, there hasn't really been any magic potion. It's really just been about that consistency and finding the people who will be around and who will stick around. And yeah, I know that's probably, I wish I had like a goodness, because I have people ask me the same question on my team. So, and
I feel like too, that the more like my transformation story has been gold for me. But I was cozy, I'm telling you, and challenging you. I started posting back when I had only lost 20 of the 45 pounds. I started posting full body shot, the whole thing, and people have followed me since then. So that post I just put of my face, my profile picture, that was the month before I became a coach. So you post, girl, I'm telling you.
You know what, Kimberly? It's like when I listen to Carly's story, she reaches so many different people because of her anorexia struggles and her overweight struggles and her PCOS struggles. She has all these struggles and she puts it out there. I feel like even when me and you have talked about your past and about all you've been through, like there's going to be people out there that are like, holy crap, I'm going through that right now. Like you need to put some of that out there.
I think you're right.
Be willing to talk about the things that no one else is willing to talk about.
Yeah.
People will come out of the woodworks. And it's funny because, not funny, but I'll have people now in my life who, because of Instagram and social media now, not even Beachbody related, they'll be like, hey, I remember you one time posted that you have PCOS. I went to the doctor today and whoa, I have it too. And so it's just little things that people connect with. And I first made that announcement about PCOS 2 years ago, and people are still remembering that and connecting to that. And that's going to be the reason they become a coach on my team sometime. But yeah, absolutely. If you haven't been open yet about that struggle that you've been through, or the little bits and pieces that might be scaring you a little bit, I would urge you guys to do that. And but yeah, as for the people who will stick, it's sometimes just a lot about time and consistency. Like sometimes it really is. And I even have to remind myself that sometimes. So I'm speaking to myself too when I tell you that.
Like real talk, I know so many coaches on like their way to Diamond, they're like, all right, 8 coaches. And then they'll have 1 or 2 coaches fall off. And then they'll be like, it's never going to happen. How many coaches, like, do you seriously, like, be real? Like, how many coaches do you go through to actually have people that stick and are solid? A ton.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you.
Oh gosh. A lot. Well, okay, what did Melissa say when we were on the top 10 panel? You have to have 1,000 conversations in order to have 100 challengers. From those 100 challengers, maybe 10 will become coaches. Out of those 10 coaches, maybe 1 will be a rock star and work the business. So, I mean, that's pretty, and that's the thing is, I think a lot of the times, I'm sure Micah can attest to this, is a lot of the times people just assume as top 10, we get never told no. And it's not that we don't ever get told no. It's just that we get told no probably 100 times more a day than you do, and we're having more conversations. So it has nothing to do with who I am or how many people or the people I'm reaching. It's how many people I'm reaching, and why, every time I get told a no, it's like I do a happy dance because they're on my contact list to follow up with. I can't even tell you guys how many of one of my coaches about to hit Diamond on my second business center was one of my very first challengers from June 2013. And I emailed her in December of 2014, the end of last year. And I was like, hey, like, you'd be an awesome coach. I know we haven't talked in like a year and a half solidly, but you've had your baby, like you're getting back in shape. I saw you're doing T25 again. Why don't you think, what about being a coach? Now she's about to be a Diamond on my second business center. So you never know like who it's going to be and where they're going to come from. So just know that the no's sometimes, most times turn into yeses. But the reason Micah and I are successful is not because we have a success potion that we drink every day. It's because we get told no probably 100 times more a day than you guys. And not you specifically, but the average coach, I think, is what I would say.
Okay. Does anyone else have a question? Raise your hand because you're, here we go. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Carly, it's Sarah Myers. I really appreciate everything that you've said, but right now I'm at the moment where I have my first 2 solid business builders, and they've hit Emerald in their first week and I'm about to hit Success Club, and I've met with both of them and they're amazing. What is the best advice that I can give them besides showing them how to put things on their leg, put their coaches on their legs? What would you do? What did you do to your first big business builders?
Well, my first big business builder just hit 2-star last week. So that's an exciting thing. Goodness, what did I do? So, okay, I'll give you kind of 2 answers because I'll tell you what I do now and what I did back then. And what I did for my 2 big business builders in the beginning when I was a newer coach was I just kind of latched onto them and kind of and handheld them to success, which is okay. I just don't have the time and energy to do that anymore. But honestly, I kind of I don't miss it because there's obviously pros and cons, but I almost miss being a new diamond or a new coach that's newly building, because there's this bond that you have with like your new diamond team. So honestly, latch onto them and just pour time and energy into them right now. And not in the sense that you need to do everything for them, but tell them every day how much you believe in them. Tell them what you just told me, that you found your first 2 rock stars and how excited you are. I remember telling my coaches that, and they were like, oh, really? Okay, like that's fun. And so for me, I would just pour your love and energy into them and tell them over and over and over how much you believe in them, because there's so much power in somebody telling you that they believe in you. So I would do that and just latch onto them, because ultimately they'll probably be what gets me Star Diamond. But for me, now, as you know, what I do with my new emeralds is I kind of make emeralds just like, I know this sounds bad, but it's not that I don't celebrate it. I do. I'm excited for them, and I post it in the team page. But I use emerald now as just as a gateway into diamond. I'm like, that's awesome. You made your first step towards diamond. I'm not like, yay, emerald. Like, woo, your business is open.
Right.
I truly believe your business is open until diamond. Or
Right.
more of a 2-star. I really don't believe that. But I think for now, as a new coach, and when you're building your confidence too as a leader, just latch onto them and tell them how much you believe in them, and tell them your vision for your team at the end of 2015, because I cannot tell you how powerful it is to tell 2 or 3 people and say, this is what we're going to do as a team, and this is what I want us to do. So I think it's exciting. Latch onto them, tell them, and just breathe life into them, but also know that your success is not dependent on them. I'm going to put that on there right now, because they are right now. I've had so many coaches who I've been like, they're it. They're the reason my business is going to explode. And then they end up 2 months in and they're like not doing anything anymore. So don't go in one basket, but also just embrace it and tell them how much you believe in them and the vision you see for your team. And I think that'll be really cool.
And also, last question. I'm looking for a success partner right now, and I'm actually en route to Phoenix, and it was supposed to be a Beachbody conference. My team, it just ended up not being like that. But my mom is really my first she's like first go-to diamond, but really all of a sudden these 2 emeralds popped up and they're like go-getting. But what for success partners, how did you find yours? And I've already reached out to a couple, but how did you find yours?
So for me, mine have actually shifted and changed throughout, because goals and different things change. For me, let's see, my first success partner, I don't even know if I really had a success partner for the first half of 2014, but around the summer, I reached out to Brittany Leggett, who is
yes.
Yeah. So I was ranked number 11 or so on the leaderboard, and we ended up just talking, and I was like, do you have a success partner? And she's like, I do, but we can still talk. And so we kind of just friends and pushed each other. Now we just have not that we're not still friends. I know I could text her for anything, but we just don't talk as often, because I think our goals have kind of shifted and moved, and we're more confident, I think, in our abilities. So we don't need to lean on each other. But for me now, I work with just some coaches actually in my uplines, downline, who are just have similar goals as me and want to be a lead, want to build teams. But don't be afraid to reach out to people, cross network. Brittany was one of my, obviously if you're not yet a diamond or you're a diamond coach, reaching out to a top 10, I'm sure they'll be like, well, our businesses are on a different level, but reach out to somebody on your level, whether it's in your own downline, in Micah's downline, or cross network, and just reach out to people, especially at events, at Summit, at Super Saturday, all of those. But yeah, being success partnerships has been one of the best, best things for my business. So I talk to that group of 4 in my uplines team almost every single day. Chelsea Pearson is also one of my really good, just success partners, but in the way that we talk maybe once every 2 weeks or so. But I think success partnerships can look in different ways. Chelsea is more of we lead on each other for, when we're really feeling down. My mastermind group is more of did you recruit the 6 coaches you said you were going to recruit this week? So just know that the success partnerships doesn't have to be one and then you're done and it's for you for the rest of your life, like a marriage. It's something that will continuously grow and thrive based on what your goals are currently. So but don't be afraid to reach out to people, cross network and all of that. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sarah, I might have one for you. I'll message you.
Okay.
Good. Okay, I'm going to mute you again. All right, guys. Does anyone else have them before we let her go? Raise your hand now. Keep raising it because I'm clicking through people. Nope, nothing. Okay.
Micah, do you have anything else you wanted me to add?
I think you covered it all. You were the bomb.
Okay, sorry guys. I know I used to apologize because I talk really fast, but now I don't apologize anymore because it's just who I am. So sorry if I talked your ear off and talked really fast, but I hope you got some sort of nugget of info from that.
So much. I loved it. Thank you for getting on. And I think only like 11 people are on, and there's like 50 people who already messaged me like, I want the recording. Where's the recording? And I'm like, it's not done yet. Chill the frick out.
Chill out. Just say, oh, sorry, it wasn't recorded. Should have been on. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm like so bad at remembering to record it, so I'm proud of myself for actually.
I'm glad you remembered.
Yeah. But all right, I'll let you go and we'll close it out. Thank you so much for being on. And I'll see you in Paris.
Yay! I'll see you a week in a few days.
Right. Okay. See you, girl.
Bye. Bye, you guys.